Town of Cedar Lake Unsafe Building Department meeting for April 21st, 2021 is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
I don't see that Sarah here, so she may be trying to Zoom. Okay.
Rick, if you're okay, Terry was making a couple copies for me.
Okay.
I can take your roll call if you like.
Yeah, please. Thanks, Jill. Roll call.
Denny Wilkening,
Yes.
Richard Sharp,
Here.
Colleen Sheehan. Here. David Austin. Ryan Deutmeyer.
Here.
I'm here. Todd Wilkening.
Here.
Terry is present, but in the other room. Note Tim Kubiak and Robert Carnahan are in attendance as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Jill. The minutes for the February 17th, 2021 public meeting, do we have all in favor of approving those minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
The motion in a second.
Do we?
You can do a voice vote if you so choose, I believe.
We need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks,
second.
Colleen. Thanks, Colleen. Thanks, Denny. All, Colleen? Yes, right?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Action item 7201 West 143rd Street Fire.
Yeah, that's got to come down.
Yeah, I think Jill may have something on there. The first one, action.
On grief,
Yeah,
Brian has been keeping up to speed on this one.
okay.
Chief Todd did his report. Tim was out there and got the structure down to a more safer pile, I'll call it. Where
The grief contacted Mr. Everly and said that the home property had been sold. And he asked
Okay.
if we would hold off on cleaning it up, and Rick gave him this week to get it cleaned up, and if it wasn't done by the end of the week, then we would finish it.
By Friday, I think he said, or something like that.
And they haven't been there yet. It's still there.
No, there hadn't been any activity.
They have
there.
not done anything as of now, but if they do not do anything before Monday, we'll line up dumpsters for Tuesday or Monday or whatever.
Okay.
Get done.
And at 4:30 today, Rick was able to make contact with Mr. Grief. It was our impression that he was going to be in today before close of business to fill out a building permit, and that did not occur.
So he didn't show up here
But
either.
They
Okay.
did make connection, and
Okay.
it is still our understanding the property is going to sell, but it is not as of this meeting.
Okay, so we need an action. What's the action we need, do you think? Ryan?
So just a real quick couple things.
Yeah,
There's a bit of a disconnect here. Jill says is going to sell, Tim says it's sold. Do we know which of those things is true?
I mean, Rick told me that grief told him that it was sold, but I did not know any other than that.
But you're saying it's not, right?
Right, and that has been the story from, right, so.
if he would have shown up tonight, we would have found out, wouldn't
I had
we?
dumpsters scheduled for Monday morning to clean it up.
I understand. It changes things just slightly.
Right, and that got canceled.
In regards to who needs to be notified, because Jill, you told me that you have the name of the person or entity that is purchasing the property.
The name that Mr. Grief told Mr. Everly.
Has that person been contacted at all?
No,
All right, what I'll need you to do is at least get that to me, because we will want to get a copy of the order to them just in case.
okay,
Because we don't know, since we don't know if it's in the process of being sold or has actually been sold, that obviously changes things as to who could be potentially responsible for the cleanup cost.
And-
Right.
and I could,
Clean
I-
it up then, right?
Well, we can.
I mean,
well,
Tim said he could have dumpsters come in and clean it up, but
It was supposed to be done Monday, but we diverted the dumpsters to the other property because it was more of a,
Well, they asked for a hold
Emergency,
off.
yeah.
too, so-
and they asked to hold off, so Tim just had them sent there, so we didn't waste the dumpsters. So it actually worked out good for all of us.
Yeah, so Monday you will, right, Tim, if we haven't heard anything as far as you know?
I mean, at this point in time, with what information I have, if it's not done on Friday, I intended If it's not done Monday morning, I'll schedule dumpsters
17,
for
10.
Tuesday.
Okay,
So for
Yeah.
board action at least.
Yes.
There's a specific subsection of statute that allows the board to take emergency action. In so doing, we don't have to issue the traditional notice, order, give them time to come in, clean it up, do all that stuff. The emergency action has to be limited to just taking care of the immediate emergency, which based on what we know is just getting everything out of there. The way the statute would then proceed, and this is relevant to the next one, is in a normal circumstance, which is, this one is not, because the
Mhm.
property could be sold. What would happen is Jill would assemble all the costs, we would present those costs to the board. The board would then evaluate, number one, the necessity of the emergency action, and number two, the cost to determine if they're reasonable. If the board affirms those costs, that can then be assessed as a certified to the auditor's office to be put on their tax rolls as special assessment.
I see. Okay,
This is a little bit different because we had the potential for the property exchanging hands in the meantime.
yeah,
So in a perfect world, we'd like to lock down the current owner, which we believe to be the Griefs,
yes,
because they should theoretically be responsible for the costs.
right,
So
Yeah.
what we have done is we prepared an emergency order for this board's consideration for this evening.
okay,
If the board were to enter the emergency order for demolition, it would, number one, authorize them to go in and clean it up.
do it, okay,
And number two, under the statute, we are allowed to record the orders in the recorder's office. And so doing that, we would then get something on the record that a title company in theory should pick up. And number one, if the closing hasn't occurred yet, we can get our costs back at closing.
okay,
Or number two, it could of course bring the sale a little bit to a halt, which would then give us time to get our certification to the auditor's office and things like that. So
sure.
there's quite a few moving parts, but if the board would like to entertain it, I have an emergency order
I think we would. don't
Yes,
you?
for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
that I'll distribute. If the board issues the order, what we would do
Thanks,
then
Brian.
is, once Tim signs it, in order to make it a recordable instrument, we've added a notary, so we'll just basically notarize the signature. Get that to us tomorrow, and we can get it to the recorder's office.
I would.
okay, great.
And a credit card.
Mother's Day.
Would anybody like to make a motion to issue the emergency order for demolition
I'll
on this
make the
property?
motion.
Colleen,
I'll second it.
second by Denny. Can we say all in favor now? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
And the next one you say is very similar, 12715 Parish, or somewhat similar, or-
Yeah, so the circumstances for this one are sort of what I alluded to under the normal statute. So the emergency action's already been taken, which is permissible. So
Okay.
what needs to happen next is, number one, I think it'd be prudent for some evidence of the emergency condition to be presented to the board, and the board can sort of affirm the emergency condition. Number two, then what'll happen is Jill will assemble the costs. Those costs will then be presented to the board. And the property owner will be given notice that those costs are going to be presented, and he or she can attend that meeting, and present any arguments or evidence as to why it wasn't an emergency. The board would then have the opportunity to affirm the cost, or it could deny the cost, or could reduce the cost, whatever the board sees fit.
Okay.
The owner would then be given time to pay. If it is not paid within the statutorily mandated time frame of 30 days, then it would just be certified to the auditor's office as a special assessment.
okay, okay. So we need a motion for what tonight to,
Well, I think number one, evidence needs to be presented at a minimum as to what the condition of this property was that made it the emergency, and then the board, if it agrees,
Page 2.
would just have to ratify the emergency.
okay. Todd, could you do that just orally, right? He could just.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, the structure suffered a major fire loss and damage. We feared that it would collapse.
Okay,
It is standard procedure in many cases on fires, depending on the overall condition of the structure. We hope we can save them to the point where they're rehabitable, but this house was not. The whole center of the house was sagging. Tim came out as well, and we took a look at it. We deemed it unsafe. We needed to bring it down on the ground so it wouldn't collapse on anybody. So it was, the decision was made by me as the chief and the authority. We also did talk with Rick Rick Everly, we had him out there. We also got
Okay.
David on the phone. Made sure everything was done properly, quickly. Then Public Works came out, brought the building down, cleaned it up. We had to hire a company to come in, which was 1-800 board up to secure the site. We did find that people were gonna start going through the product or the building, and it was
Yeah.
on the ground, and they ended up doing it. And we fenced it off for the night.
Okay,
And so there is a bill for that. That's gonna need to be attached to that, and I did get that invoice late this afternoon, so I'll get that to you tomorrow. There is a fire report that's been completed, a fire investigation report that's been completed, an unsafe building report that I completed. Jill has everything. Carl Brittingham, the detective, also helped with the investigation. In fact, he just took all the pictures.
okay.
There's some 200 pictures of this site that Jill also has access to, or has by now, right? Did he get
Yes,
to you?
I
Okay.
have them.
So that is what we're presenting tonight for the unsafe building, to consider to move forward with that as evidence of the building being in a disarray to the point where it was a public
Needed
safety
to come
hazard.
down.
And it
Yes,
needed to come
absolutely,
down.
How
absolutely.
much
Thanks,
was the fence price?
thanks, Todd.
8,000.
8,000.
That was, well, that was after hours call out, plus that. did
Needed it right
include
away.
their-
I
That
understand.
did
Yeah,
include the board up company that did come out and start the board up prior to us deciding the building needed to come down, because they also said that the structure was not safe, so.
okay, thank you. Thank you.
You also had to get NIPSCO out and they had to find a special tool to get the access on.
NIPSCO had to find the actual T, which they thought was in the road, and they were gonna have to dig the road up, but luckily for us, they found it actually in the easement. It's so old that one of their tools, they actually have to make the tool to turn it off, so. But it's a homemade tool, yeah. So they secured the gas basically at the street, the electric's off at the pole, so there is no access to utilities on
Right.
that property.
Okay,
The
good.
both meters were pulled and secured by NIPSCO. They have them.
Okay, thanks, Todd.
Okay.
So we need a motion to approve the emergency action that was taken by,
I think
okay,
that'd be appropriate.
okay.
And
Anybody want to
I'll
make
make the motion.
that? Well, I'm sorry.
Your unsafe premise report has been distributed to you. It's on page 2 of
It's on
the
page 2 of the
3-page
unsafe-
packet.
okay.
They need a cost, Brian.
Do we need a cost right now,
No,
Brian?
no, it'll just be probably at the next meeting.
It'll come at the
We'll
next
get the
meeting? Okay, okay. All right, so we just need a motion to approve the actions taken as emergency action.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay,
actions.
second, Dan?
Yeah.
Thank you. Motion carries, and I'd say yes also. 3-0, okay. Thanks, Todd. Update item 12740 Hilltop Wade and Dunn Land Trust, number 1351, 5051. Whatever we can do on this, we need to
This
we need
is-
to do.
He came in about 3 months ago, a day or two after the meeting he was at, asked about who we could get as a contractor. We gave him a list of licensed contractors in town. He said he was gonna get a plan and get some estimates and get back, and that's the last.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here tonight too. We told him to be here.
Yes, yeah, he was supposed to be here tomorrow, because, or today,
Yes, he was.
tonight,
So
yeah.
I think we need to take action on this one.
What can we do, Ryan?
I don't know that we've
Can we do anything yet?
I don't know that we've ordered title on this. The one open-ended item that Jill and I discussed, and maybe you had a discussion too, Rick, is whether or not there's somebody living here.
Yes, I believe there is.
Because we've heard both.
Well, I've heard no from somebody that lives real close to there.
I've been by there several times. and nothing.
Anybody?
Okay, so he just comes in and says somebody lives
Right.
there.
Has
I
there been a
did-
building permit issued on it? Has
No,
there been a building permit issued on it?
No, there has not,
He
as
claims
of
he's going to
yesterday
come in and
afternoon.
do it.
He's been claiming that for what,
Yeah.
3 months, Todd? Yeah.
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 Longer, yeah, I think.
And he won't even come in and get a permit, so,
No, he's not gonna do anything. He originally wanted to put a coat of paint on, remember?
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So to answer your question, Rick, the next steps would be, number one, I don't think we've ordered title on this. So we can get going on that. And then hopefully if things come back quickly, we can have a proposed order for demolition ready for the next meeting.
Next meeting? Okay, great.
We can, I needed to go, I totally forgot to do this. I needed to go look and see if he cleaned up that oil too. He's got oil stored on the property. Open oil.
Ryan, the unsafe premise report was done in July of 2020. Will you need that updated?
Probably should be.
Okay.
And in the process, we can try to get to the bottom as to if anybody's living there. It'd certainly be helpful.
So that's 9 months right there, isn't it? Messing around with this and not hearing the same thing.
What do we want to do as far as an updated report? Just go do another inspection?
Just confirm that the conditions are the same.
I'll do that and I'll reach back out to you. You can change or update the report then. That would be okay.
That would be fine.
Thank you.
If we have a
Thanks.
current date on it. So,
Great, thanks, Todd.
We'll go take a look at it tomorrow. I know a retired guy.
Update item number 2, 14620 Bryant Street, Thomas J. Frick.
This item has been brought before you. Todd just completed the unsafe report yesterday.
As you can see, I've been delinquent on a bunch of
It's
reports. I
on.
got them all done in the last couple of days.
Well,
It's
thank
on
you,
the third
thank you.
page of your small packet here. I have spoken with Mr. Frick. He has said he would get a building permit to take it down. There was some consideration on a time limit to allow him to do that work himself. And some potential conditions on sewer being capped, and
Great.
there's some,
It is unsafe, correct, Todd?
Yeah, we've had dialogue with him for the past probably 2 years about this house,
Yeah,
if not,
okay.
if not longer. And he's, he works a lot and he
Yeah.
claims that he has issues getting here to get permits. I don't think we mess around with this house any longer. I think that it's time to move forward on it. We really do. He's had plenty of time. There is no intention of doing anything with that property, or he'd have done it within the last 24 months. So, it has deteriorated worse than it was originally noted. So
Is it? Okay, okay.
I think we need to move forward. Nobody's living in it. It is housing local varmints, and probably don't want the population.
No,
Yeah, there's
no,
2 little kids living right next door.
Yeah.
It's just. not
Oh, is
good.
that right? No,
Yeah.
it's
Has
terrible.
there been a report on that, Tom?
Yeah, you got it.
Does that one need to be updated too?
No, I just did it.
Oh, perfect.
It's
And I know that we do have title. We have title on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, you do
Okay.
have title.
So then
so-
can we just move forward on it?
Yeah, so what we can do is we can prep the initial order for the board's consideration next month.
Next month for order of demolition?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
and then I'll send that to Mr. Frick to attend your next meeting, if he so chooses.
Please, yes.
Could be gone. It looks pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, we do need the order, yeah, okay. All right, item 3, 7118 West 131st Place.
At your February meeting, you had asked to invite her or him to attend your next meeting. However, in looking at Lake County records, the property ownership has changed hands. So I wanted your direction on inviting the new property owner.
We have a report on this somewhere, Joe. I mean, not tonight, but somewhere.
The report was completed. Bear with me. December 18th of 2019.
Rick, if memory serves me on this one, this guy was here a couple of times. I think he lived in Chicago. And he was doing some work, and then there was, I thought there was only 1 or 2 final issues that need to be resolved. And that's kind of what we were waiting on. I don't
Okay.
recall what those issues were, though.
I don't either right now.
There was a problem with a chimney, I think. I have it. I should probably go back to 2018.
So what do we need? What do you think? We need to find out who owns it,
I think you have that information correct.
the new owner?
Jill has that
Mhm.
information.
Based on
Okay.
Lake County records, I can double check with our utility department if they have updated contact information on that property.
Should we go out and look at it and see if it's, some of those things have been taken
Yeah,
care of?
we haven't heard from Mr. Orlando in quite some time.
No,
So
we
I
have
would
not.
at least confirm what the conditions are what they are.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Jill can send off the notice to appear and we can figure it out.
Is that in
Okay.
our shared file?
Just the
That
picture.
address? It is. Okay, good. I'll
What was that?
pull it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And take a look
Yeah.
and see. I know that I didn't report on it, so.
Yeah, I mean, if Todd takes a look and says it looks good, then we don't need to issue the order or the notice and we can get it off the agenda.
Get it off, yeah.
Okay,
If it's not good, then send out the letter and have them come.
You'll be able to do that, Todd, you think? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
in between other fires.
Thank you.
Lunch today, didn't
We had 3 in the
Did you? really?
Wow.
Wow.
instructions.
you? Yeah, 11 calls, 12 calls altogether.
Oh, my. Wow.
Accidents.
Number 4, 6425 West 141st Ward. What do we know on that?
this one,
This is one of them that's been on there for a while.
It has been on there for,
Yeah.
yeah.
We were gonna remodel it or share it down yourselves. Tear it down, that's some- Yeah, well, that's something that was supposed
Well, it's got a permit on it, doesn't it?
Did they come in and get a permit?
I think they might have got the demolition permit. Possibly.
that one I
If
don't.
it hasn't, it's got to be about ready to expire.
Yeah, yeah.
And usually we only get those demo permits.
In January, it was ordered a demo permit,
January of 2020.
like 2020. Read my notes. When I was on hold till next meeting, that was April.
2021, you mean.
It's on hold till this meeting.
Okay,
That's what we
okay,
said.
okay.
That's the notes I took down.
Thanks,
11
that
months.
reminds me why it's on the agenda. Apologize. That's okay.
You looking at the 6425?
Yeah, 6425 West 140.
141st.
That's when it
Yeah.
actually, that had a fire as well.
That's what it said, it burned.
Okay, okay. So that was relatively recent and they were supposed to show up at this meeting. Is that what it's saying, Denny? Yeah?
Yeah, it says unsafe premises report, and I don't know, they don't see anything about it.
Well, can we reach out to them and see if they won't come in here?
It's in pretty bad shape. Look at the pictures here.
Anything, what do you think, Ryan? Is that,
I'm trying to recall, was this the one that the discussion was giving them the shorter time frame to get the house down?
I think it might have
Because we
been,
had-
now that you
remember
mentioned that.
back a few years, We had some issues with permits being issued and people waiting until the last minute to actually doing anything.
Yeah.
We've been discussing at least limiting the time frame on it, whether it be 3 months or 6 months instead of a year.
Right.
Yeah, this was a
right.
garage fire under the house, but it didn't burn the whole house, but it happened so many years ago that the house has deteriorated even worse since then.
I think they were gonna try to use the foundation.
Yeah, I think that's what they said. They were gonna use the foundation.
Yeah.
But have they
Okay.
done anything at all?
Nothing's been done to it that I know of.
Well,
We'll go back over there and double check, but I
Okay.
don't think so. Because
I
you
got,
didn't- you
I
didn't
got a
get
call on it, and Dave Colson was our chief of police at that time, and Dave Colson and I went out there and looked at it. So it dates back to when Dave Colson was here.
Yeah.
Did you do a report on it, Bob?
The chief, I don't know if he did anything or not.
I see you did the report.
No,
Come on down, I'll keep you.
But Todd's gonna look at it, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna- Okay. Then we've got 3 items under possibly
I
unsafe.
think Colson did contact me.
I'm gonna hold that one into it till next meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
Said you
She's
guys
gonna
wanted
do a
to, and I
report.
remember
Todd's
that.
gonna do a report on it. Or go out and look at it.
No, I think there's a report.
Okay.
On
You're just gonna
which-
go out and take a look at it and verify.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure
Bring
that
everything up to
it
date.
hasn't been
Yeah,
touched.
yeah.
So I think we can probably move forward.
Let's verify, if it's okay, we'll verify that information and invite them to your next meeting.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we've got 3 possibly unsafe structures. 7215 West 128th Place. Anybody recall anything on that? Or is this just brand pretty much
these,
new?
they were fairly new, I think, but I know I've
So they
had
probably
complaints.
haven't been.
I've had complaints on several of those.
Yeah.
So we
They're probably
probably,
all the same. But now we do have 70-20 West 139 fires. Is that gonna require anything special? Jill?
that was on your agenda prior to me being on Unsafe. I don't have a file on that one.
Do you know anything about that?
I believe
Todd?
that
Which
the
one is that?
seventy
third one on
twenty
here.
west one hundred
One
thirty-nine.
thirty-nine?
Yes,
These 3 items.
I think that one's already cleaned up.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
gone.
okay, good.
I'm pretty sure that.
All right, then we can get it off.
Okay,
there
we
if
can
that's
take it
the
off that
case.
then,
I
right?
checked it, but
You
that was
better double
back
check
and then
before we take it
across
off.
the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should check and
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, we'll check and then.
And then the ones on 128 Lane, is that the 2 houses that are next to each other that the same people keep complaining, but they have permits on them and they're doing work to them? I can't remember.
I think that was up there in the MacArthur School area where
Right.
the neighbors came into a meeting and said that
Yep.
nothing was being taken care of, the grass wasn't being cut.
But they have a permit on it. There was a permit on it when we went and looked at it. Tim looked at it, I looked at it. And they had to update the permit, and you look through the window, you could see that there was construction being done inside the building. The houses are really close, and she was very worried that it was gonna catch that house was gonna catch it, her
I
house
think the
on
one
fire.
has a permit across the street, but I don't think that one.
The one across the street is the one that doesn't have the finished base, or it has the foundation in with
Okay.
just the flooring on it, no walls.
That's been going on forever now.
Yeah. But across the street is what these are ones we're talking about. That's why we didn't do a report on
One
it,
is
because they
place
were.
and one is lane.
permitted.
Yeah, one's place and one's lane.
Yeah, because if you're fake, they're,
And the numbers are
Side
sort
by
of
side.
transposed.
yeah, they're side by side and right next to each other, so one's on lane and one's on place. And then there's the house that's adjacent to it is like within 6 feet of it.
Well, should we maybe just drive by and see if they're doing anything with it or
I've probably been up there 6 times,
have you?
yeah, because there's been so many complaints on it, but
Okay.
we don't do unsafe building reports on buildings that are not unsafe.
Unsafe,
Neither
yeah,
one of those
yeah.
houses are really unsafe.
Okay.
They're not nice and they're not in great shape, but they're not to the point where they're not fixable and they need to come down. So
Okay.
plus with the permits, it kind of ties our hands a little bit. We have
Right.
parameters by law that we got to follow. So
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I called you the other day, Joe, on that one on Theodore. Did you get an address on that?
yeah, I got it.
Oh, is that the address?
I did a
We
report.
need
on
to
it
get
a
that to
second
the,
time.
on the list too, because that's in real bad shape.
Okay.
For your next meeting, we'll have,
many-
Okay.
Add that one.
How many building permits can a person apply for?
you can apply for really as many permits as you want.
I mean, so a
It's-
guy can
Leave
draw a
his
building
house
permit
with
and
the
leave it
price
lay
of a
for a
building
whole
permit.
year and then draw another one and, you
Yeah.
Mhm.
know, how are we ever gonna get by that?
That one actually, the property you're talking about is 1003.
130
What?
something.
It's on Deodar.
Yeah.
I did check it. It did get a permit in October. I have tried to reach out to the property owner today via the phone number on the permit. Every time I called, the phone line was
There's
busy.
nothing on the building, no.
Um,
They
permit's
tried
gone.
to get his electric service turn on permit for that building, and I told them they have to tear it down. It was-
Yeah, I mean.
It was a demo permit issued
It's ready
in
to go now.
October of 20.
The guy did get a demo permit to take it down. And that's part
Well,
of-
you did get a
And they
demo
had-
permit?
How long are those good for, Tim?
1 year.
Oh, 1 year, okay.
Well, and again, a normal permit is good for 1 year. Once they've been coming to this board, we've been only giving them 30 days.
That's right,
or
yeah.
90 days, but
Yeah.
in a normal situation, if somebody just comes in for a demo permit, it's good for a year. We've been, when people are forced to get a permit on these jobs, we've been making them
30 or
have some
60,
problems.
huh?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
better.
30 to 60
Right.
days or-
That's
That's
good for a year
That's
too
what we
then,
should
right?
do.
So, or not, not giving them
Yeah.
a year for a demo.
Yeah.
Once they've been here, but in a normal situation.
But he can't get another one.
voluntarily,
You won't get another one.
Correct.
I don't think we issue another permit for that house. Another year.
Demo permit.
I understand, but I mean,
If they ask for another one,
if they ask for
yeah.
another one, that house is terrible.
Can we bring them in, even if they've asked for a demo permit and see when they're
It's a
gonna
hotel for
execute?
critters, I can tell you
That
that.
I
is.
mean, if no action is being taken with the permit, then get the unsafe premises report done and all of it.
Done.
Do what they're gonna do.
Okay, then we can do.
All right,
and
well,
Pat,
I'll
we'll-
invite
them
him
to
to
the
the
next
next meeting.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And Tim, you were saying that 7029 West 135th Avenue, that doesn't look unsafe. They may have
I
other
mean, it didn't
problems.
look good. It's in poor condition. There was cats everywhere outside. It wasn't, I mean, there was a couple windows boarded up. Like I said, it wasn't pretty. I think that somebody could use a little nudge to maybe do something with it. But I mean, it didn't look like it was ready to fall down. But
Okay.
it didn't look, I just drove and looked at it. from the
Sure, I
exterior.
understand.
didn't
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time. But
Yeah,
I seen about 6 cats running around outside, so the complaints are.
that's
Well,
what,
and
that's
it's
what,
been-
yeah,
It's been not lived in for quite some time. You can tell by the feet outside.
that one. And you think, you were saying the birdhouse maybe should we put it back on the list? Todd?
Yeah, I mean, we.
Because you've been
we
inside,
gotta do
right?
Something with that.
You,
that
or
house.
you're a fireman or some of your people?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
That's
I-
too bad.
Yeah, I can't discuss what's going on in the house at this meeting.
I understand.
right.
Okay,
We
Okay.
do need to,
Add it to us.
and get out that, we're gonna try to get up there with their attorney
yeah,
last month,
Yeah.
I think.
she was very helpful last time.
Get a
Yeah, I
hold of
talked
her.
to Carrie.
Yeah, Carrie,
I think it after the February meeting.
Yeah.
In March.
yeah.
Okay,
And she was gonna try to send a note off to her people. I think she was having difficulties, at least reaching them on the phone.
I think what she told me last time is they pretty much stopped communicating with her because every time she's
Yeah.
contacting them, they know what it's about.
yeah, sure, sure.
But there's 3 people living in that house and it's
Okay,
crazy.
okay, we probably should try and get something for next week or next month on that one.
I was
The
gonna
birdhouse.
suggest with as many items as you're gonna have and inviting people to your next
Yeah.
meeting, would you consider having your meeting start at 6 PM instead of 6:30
Sure.
and invite people to be here at 6, if that would be all
Yeah.
right with everyone?
I think so.
That's
Ryan?
fine.
Fine
That's,
by me.
is it fine, Ryan? Okay. Denny, you okay with that?
That way we can
Okay.
get through some of these.
Yeah,
Well, just you have a meeting following you and that'll allow,
yes, so we
some
can
time
keep
to
everything moving.
keep
Yeah,
everything moving.
I agree. I agree. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Wait, public comment.
Public comment, any public comment? Did
Anybody?
she get on? Anybody get on?
No, I have no
For this-
attendees.
Okay,
The one panelist is RIT.
okay.
Okay, any public comment? No public comment, this meeting is adjourned.